Hello everyone. Welcome to this episode of Dat Game Show. I'm actually going to change the name of the show. It's going to be called The Cast from now on. Figured that The Cast seems a little bit more catchy. I guess, yeah, the original name I just kind of had to come up with on the spot while I was making the stream and whatnot. But anyways, enough of that. We are going to today look at... we're going to look at the Game 1 of the Finals of MLG Orlando. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick. We're looking at the finals of MLG Orlando between Huk and MC, and this is on the Tal'Darim Altar. And so this is I wanted, when I saw this game live, I was extremely stunned at how this game went. This ended up being a 4-gate versus 4-gate battle. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna analyze. We're gonna blast through the game, just highlighting a couple of points, and then for the second part we're going to look at the build order, because Huk and MC actually do exactly the same things. And then lastly, we're going to look at the tactics that Huk used as unit control, which ultimately allowed him to win the game. So let's get started with it, with the game. I'm gonna times 2 it here because it's pretty. Actually, times 4 it. Heck, just because it's pretty much a dull opener. It's pretty much the same thing. They literally do the exact same build. Huk's build is just a tad bit quicker than MC's here. If we go to the production tab, we're gonna see literally everything is exactly the same, just a couple of seconds behind. These players are really good, obviously, so we're just going to see how everything plays out. We're going to actually go to the Huk cam and take a look at his insane micro ability. Cause note that in the chat he's typing a lot, so is MC, and they're both doing all this crazy shenanigans, so obviously these players are really good. Excuse me. So as we see Huk's moving out. So first thing I want to note, pausing it up, being aggressive with these first 2 units here, going into the everybody cam. MC is also doing the same thing, being aggressive with this very first Stalker and Zealot. Is very good to be putting some pressure on your opponent, doing a little bit of pressure and aggression, while your second Stalker is also building. Also, just a small note, placing pylons very early. Obviously, we normally, what some people do with the 4-gate, at least I've seen anyways, is they bring their probe with, they set up their pylon, and then they wait for that to finish and they do a full warp in and then go. Huk, being a very, figuring this was probably going to be was the case, he's sending out his probe very early and putting down pylons in the base. If we actually look at the Huk cam, Huk actually hasn't went into MC's base yet. He has no idea what MC's doing, so he is actually opting not to scout at the moment, but figuring that he's going to be doing the scouting with his units. But he's going to take this probe and set up a pylon outside here, and eventually we're going to see him set up one right here outside the base as well. But being aggressive with these very first few units is pretty important. It kind of freaks your opponent out and lets them make some kind of overcompensate, possibly. Alright, we're gonna slow it down now. Here we go. So here we go, and here's the battle. The battle does go on for a little while. Also, just another small thing to note: see how Huk is actually pulling back here, doing another additional set of warp-ins. Same thing with MC, doing those warp-ins, pulling back, doing what he can. Another thing, just another crucial point, is also being very active with your warp-ins as soon as they pop up, pulling back, reinforcing, sending the forces in. If you miss a warp-in, then you give your opponent the chance to get ahead and overrun you in the unit count. So as we see here, MC is getting completely mauled and wrecked. The Zealots doing some havoc, warping in some more Stalkers, doing some good stuff. poking him with this annoying little stalker up here, warping in more units. So you see the composition from both players. No sentries, all stalker and zealot. MC gets supply blocked, which is obviously never a good thing at all, so Huk's going to push his advantage and do a sick amount of damage. So you see MC making a slight misstep, moving into Huk's units, and GG. Okay, so we saw that was a really quick game. Actually, the game is only a 10-minute long game. Usually the games don't end up, usually in lower levels, the game ends very, very quickly, usually with the first or second warp in, and then it's pretty much done. But these guys are tip-top level Code S players, so obviously it's going to go a little bit longer. As you can see, the money is always really, really low. They're constantly warping units in to reinforce their army. Okay, so that was just a quick blast through of the game. We're going to obviously now we're going to go back and actually see here Huk. I didn't even see this is the first time Huk had more units sitting here ready and waiting to go to reinforce. So we're going to actually go back now and start the replay over. And we're going to take a look at the Huk chem. We'll just ×2 it up until the important parts. So as we see right here, so okay, obviously, so first gateway going down on 12 supply. People sometimes opt to make this gateway really early, but 12 supply. And then almost immediately taking a gas, one gas, that's all that you need to power the warp gate, the 4 warp gate. So taking the gas and instantly throwing 3 3S probes into the gas. Cool. Then you see the cybernetics core is coming down. And at about a quarter of the way from the cybernetics core, we see the first zealots popping out. No chrono boosts or anything. Huk's saving up all of his chrono boosts right now. As you see, has a lot of energy, 65 energy. Warp gate and a stalker being researched right now. Instant. We got a chrono boost actually coming out right now on this stalker, which is pretty important. Getting this first stalker out also really quickly. MC didn't do that. He opted to save his chrono boost, but we see a chrono boost on. We're gonna see the rest of the chrono boosts being used on this warp gate. Also, these 3 gateways went down. If we're gonna actually pull this back just a little bit, go at ×1 speed. We're gonna see. Actually, we'll ×2 it just to about the 4-minute mark. So there's the zealot and the stalker coming out, and then we're gonna slow it down. And as we see here, the stalker's going to pop in just a moment. And as the stalker pops, just a little bit after it pops, we're gonna see probably coming up here at the 4:15. We see about 4:15, we see the first gateway, second gateway, third and fourth gateways coming down about 4:20. No other stalkers being made at the moment, but everything being rallied right up to the opponent's base. And then the next stalker comes out. Chrono boost always being used on the warp gate technology, getting that out as quick as you can. And we're going to see a pretty sweet timing here, where these 3 warp gates finish almost immediately. At the same time as the warp gate does. So as we see here, again being aggressive, trying to do a little bit of extra damage to the zealots and to the forces of MC. Going to everybody, can we see here? So Huk, interestingly, placing a pylon, or he's going to try and place a pylon down here. If you place one down here, you got a good set. You can like warp in some units and be a little bit of a pest. Other than that, he's just chilling out right here. He's got a pylon placed here and a pylon placed here, both good proxy positions. This one is a little bit better, allowing you to reinforce a lot quicker because the distance is so short. We see the second stalker moving out to the expansion of MC. And MC is actually, MC's kind of in a better position for this because he's defending. If MC were to move out with this, he probably would be able to take on this before the stalker got out. But the micro from Huk would be too good. Would be really, really good, so it would be kind of difficult. But MC being in the defending position, his units get to him a little bit faster. So if say MC had won the micro battle, he would be in an overwhelming position to push and take back take Huk down. But again, not the case. As we see, warp gate almost done, being chrono boosted away, and the 3 warp gates just finishing up. So so now this stalker is going to make its way to these 2 units right at the front, and we're going to see the battle commence. Okay, so obviously, and then there's your warp-in. Unit composition-wise, your first warp-in's always going to be stalkers. We see that both players haven't taken their second gases yet, or at all. When you don't take your second gas in the warp gate, if you're going to plan to just straight up for warp gate, nothing else, you don't take it right away. So obviously, as we see right now, we're going to look at this pylon, and we see that MC has the exact same number of units, exact same unit composition as Huk. 6 stalkers, 1 zealot. Now we're going to see we're going to take a look now in a little bit of detail about the unit control that Huk employs, and this is what actually enabled him to win the game. Just his really, really great unit control. Just want to double check. So yeah, one other thing is that MC is at supply cap right now. He's at 34 of 34. I like Huk's position in this a little better, being able to have that extra supply, that little supply buffer, so you can warp in units really quickly if you so need to. So you're going ahead and start the replay, and we're going to see the units here. Okay, so first thing, pause it. First thing that we saw, we're actually going to jump back just a tad. Okay, should be coming up soon. Alright, so first thing that we saw from Huk with his unit control is that he focused down this 1 zealot. Now the reason why you would like to do this, zealots do a little bit of faster damage. They have a higher DPS rate than stalkers do. So having zealots out, as we can see, they do a lot of damage to stalkers really quickly. You see that 1 zealot's being able to take out that stalker very quickly. From here, at this point right now in time, Huk is he's just 1Aing the rest of his units. So you can see we don't really see a lot of direct focus firing, but the zealot taking down a lot of the units, and then right there we just saw a little bit of focus firing taking down a little bit of the weakened stalkers. MC didn't do this. He obviously just 1A'd at his opponent, and he lost the micro battle. His stalkers, during the first engagement there, when Huk took out the zealot, his stalkers were shooting the other stalkers. Obviously there's a lot of damage done to these stalkers, and so he didn't focus down the zealot. I think had he focused down the zealot as well, I think it would have been a little bit more even. There would have been 4-on-4 stock, or 6-on-6 stalkers. So that's one thing that played a lot. As we can see right now, Huk also has really good stalker micro, so he's able to pull back the weakened stalkers. And we see now that Huk has an advantage in the unit count. We're going to see he's going to try and poke in a little bit more, do a little bit more damage, and then he's going to pull back and reinforce. Alright, so second warp in is done for both players, and we're going to see again exact same unit composition, 3 zealots and a couple and stalker, and we have 1 stalker being warped in there. So it's almost the same actually. Huk's got a little bit of an advantage. He was able to keep 1 of the stalkers alive, so he does have 1 more stalker, but the 3 zealots and the 1 stalker exactly the same warp in there. These zealots are also good for tanking a lot of damage. If your opponent actually does 1A, they're going to attack the closest attacking unit. So you have these at the front of up here at the stalkers doing a lot quicker damage, while you have your stalkers picking off some of the weakened units from afar. So we're going to see how this plays out here. You see the Zealots moving up to the front, and again, Huk focusing down the Zealots. He's not focusing down the Stalkers because he knows that the Stalkers don't do as much DPS as the Zealots. You see here, pulling back again to do all of the another warp in, two more Zealots, so he's got 5 and 3 in total. We're actually going to pull back just a little bit. Sorry, like I said, I'm sick. We're going to actually pull back, and we're just going to play by play this, frame by frame, as we see here. So this one is taking a little bit more damage, and we even see Huk doing some Stalker micro, blinking or pulling back his Stalkers. But as we see, these ones are focusing down the Zealots, so they're able to overcome them. The DPS is just too high. Keep going right along. Pulling back, warping in another set of units, and again the Stalkers at the back, Zealots at the front. As you can see now, Huk just has a largely overwhelming force. MC is really worried about Stalker micro, so he didn't really do a lot of focus firing with any of his Zealots. You see a lot of the Zealots survived. 4 Zealots, 2 Stalkers. Now MC warping in another 2 Zealots and keeping those 2 Stalkers alive. You see these go down extremely quickly. Huk doing a great job microing his Stalkers around so that the Zealots don't get at him. Even trades there, so that they each lost 2 more Zealots. I think a little bit of poor control with this getting glitched out, mismicroed, but he was bringing in 2 more Zealots, now 2 more as well. So going over again now, looking at the unit station, we see an overwhelming unit advantage in Huk's favor. We see we have the 5 Zealots, 3 Stalkers for Huk. 2 of his Stalkers are warping in right now and making their way up there. This other Stalker is being a decoy, trying to pull these guys back while the Zealots get into the mineral line, which obviously it works for a little while, as we're going to see. MC's reaction time is really good though, so he does pull his probes away. Decoy Stalker still trying to do a little bit of damage, but MC's focused on the Stalker micro. And again, focusing down the Zealots. It's a really big theme in this style, from this 4-gate PvP style. So getting down the Zealots, taking down a lot of the higher DPS. This is a big move here though for Huk. Supply blocking MC. Obviously, if you can do this, you should definitely do this. If you have a chance to pick off any free pylons, go ahead and do it. Supply blocking your opponent is never good for them. So obviously we see now 8 Zealots, 4 Stalkers. So yeah, I mean, MC has a little bit of a higher Stalker count. But overall, in general units, Huk has as many Zealots as SC has units. Again, overwhelming odds, or overwhelming numbers, able to take down a lot of MC's units very, very quickly. Microing around. And here right now is MC's misstep. If we look at the MC cam and we look at the warp gates, he almost has enough 3 more warp-ins. We have a few more units. Another Zealot warping in here and walking his way up. So as we see here, this Zealot here died a painful death to these Zealots, and we see that these Stalkers here are moving up towards Huk's units. This was, I think, a big misstep. As we see, we have the Zealots to the north, to the northeast, and the Stalkers to the southeast, as well as another Zealot coming in from the side. And as we look at the MC cam, we see MC does know that this is here. Moving these units down and trying to get in the middle of all of it is a bad idea, because then your opponent does get the most surface area, able to surround your units. I feel that though, if MC had pulled back up here for a couple of seconds, if just maybe half a second, because you see there really isn't, there's not a lot of time left on this warp-in for 3 of the gateways at least. I feel that if Huk pulled back here and warped in another set of units, he may have been able to do a little bit of something. But I think the outcome probably still would have been the same, but I don't think that MC would have lost right here outright. As we see, he moves in, Stalkers, Zealots, completely cutting off all of MC's units and surrounding him, and then GG. So as we see, so we saw Huk's crazy control with his units, and was able to take out MC. Again, Huk having more units warping in at the back, never letting up on these warp-ins, sending them in. Oh, it's a waterfall. Okay. Anyways, yeah, so just again to recap and just on the main points of this this replay here. One chrono boost on the Stalker, no chrono boost on probes, but one chrono boost on the Stalker, and all your rest of your chrono boosts are saved up on here, on your warp gate. Again, 20 probes in total. So you have 3 in your gas, and then the rest on minerals. And then never letting up on your warp-ins is another third point. Never just keep constantly warping in whenever you have money. Warp in units, boom. Also, I believe, let's just take a look, but I'm about 95% sure, yeah, that Huk is actually using. Let's see when he does a warp in. And does he chrono boost at the? I believe he. Yeah, he can. He chrono boosts at some of these at the warp gates. That's another another minor but important detail. Being able to chrono boost your warp gates. Getting even if it's just 1 or 2 chrono boosts on the warp gates, it's still a significant advantage to you to do so. And then lastly, focusing down Zealots when necessary. When your opponent has the Zealot count, obviously we see right there, focusing down the Zealots, and now they're left with nothing but Stalkers. MC's unit control is really good, don't get me wrong, his unit control is some of the best in the world, but I don't think that MC focused down the right units. I don't think he had controlled to the very best of his ability. So yeah, those are the key points right there, and of the whole thing. It's pretty awesome replay to watch. Watching this was crazy. Looking forward to Providence for this weekend, so we'll see what Huk does there, what they do, and who will win this one. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next video.